Okay, so let's talk about one final sort of way to make selections. It's a little bit more sophisticated. You may or may not want to use this technique. It's called the color range technique, but it would be helpful if you have a very complicated form. So to sort of find such a form, I thought we might search for a feather. Okay, and we're going to go into the black and white only. Okay. So I want something to be fairly complicated. This guy could be a candidate right there. What other ones might be nice? Maybe this one down there. Okay, let's try this guy. No, it's a drawing of some sort. Don't care for that, actually. Okay. WikiHow? Not sure about that. Sorry, I'm being a little fussy. But I want to have a good demo. This guy. Okay, we'll try this guy, I think. Let's go to the view image here. So it has a watermark up here, actually several watermarks. So it's a, it's a file that has been, they've set up these watermarks so that you just can't grab it for your own image. I'm going to deal with that anyway because it looks like a good candidate for showing this color range, but it probably would not be suitable for your project. So you can zoom in, and then you have these embedded watermarks that you really have a hard time getting rid of. So I wouldn't pick that, except that it's going to be perfect for my tutorial. I think I'm going to call it perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this bottom here by just cropping that out. Okay, so to select this using the magic wand would require the patience of a saint, and it's not a very good candidate for picking the background and then inverting it like I did with the pear, because there's just too much white that sort of creeps in to those areas. So I'm going to show this other technique. Hopefully this will go fairly well. We're going to select color range. So what the color range does is it looks for, as it suggests, colors that have something in common. When you take your cursor and go from this dialog box over here onto your image, it turns into an eyedropper. See that? What you want to do is you want to click on something within the image that represents the color you want to select. Now in our case we have just a black and white, so that's going to be fine. But if you were doing a color image, which we will later in this semester, you might want to just pick on the yellows or just the greens within this. But when I click on this, it's defining the color that I want to have selected. Then if I come back over here and I deal with this, I say poorly named slider called fuzziness, and then I go lower or higher, you can see that there is an active preview in that window of how much it intends to select. So I told it black, and if I come down here to this fuzziness of only 16, it's selecting very little black. If I come up to the maximum fuzziness of 200, it's selecting quite a lot of black. It might even be too much. So it's hard to say what's going to be perfect. You can try a few things. Let me try something mid-range, 149. Say, okay. That is almost dizzying right now in its complexity. It's all these marching ants that are showing you what is selected. It's probably also picking those, also picking the trademark, frustratingly, but that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to go with this. I am going to edit, and I'm going to fill that, and I'm going to fill it with a color, and I'm going to pick my darkest gray value that I asked you to work with. So it's just going to go from being black to a very dark gray, 80, 80, 80, okay, okay. Now I'm going to show you something, and it may fail slightly, which is going to be a better demo. When I turn this off, this selection, what we may see is that some areas remained black. Let's click that off. Do we have that, or was it a perfect selection? Eek, was it perfect? Pretty darn good. All right, I'm not going to complain. I'll take yes for an answer. But what you may find on some of your selections is that you may have picked almost everything, but then there would be like a very slight halo of black around it. If that's the case, I would go into history. I would undo the color range. I would return to that dialog box, right? Go back to color range and try a fuzziness that was a little higher, go all the way up to 200, and see if you can eliminate that black outline. But this was quite lovely. So, how do I bring this now into my untitled? I could go back one, I could, instead of the deselection, I could right now copy it and then paste it into my untitled. But let's say I had deselected it. What would I do? Let's do something extra tricky. Let's duplicate that layer into my untitled. Okay. Go back into my untitled. There it is. But oh dear, look at that white background. I didn't want that. I never cut out the background. What do I do? What do I do? Aha. Here's a nice opportunity for you to take that blending mode to that multiply. Watch how slick this is. So right now, right, it's a super annoying edge there. I'll leave it right visible. You can see it. If I take this blending mode and bring it to multiply, it makes that background disappear. Whoa. So if it's overlapping that, you're changing what you're changing, the sort of look of that. But if it was only positioned and let's say transformed to be a smaller shape, and it was only down here, you would never know about that. When it goes over the pear, you might know, but you wouldn't otherwise see it. So, two choices. Again, if you had come back to that feather and you wanted to keep the selection active, go back into your history, turn off the deselect, and then you could edit copy, right, and then paste it, and you would have no background. But if by chance you had done a few things, I just want you to see that that blending mode of multiply is super helpful. So I sort of course, what am I going to do? Being the nerd I am, I'm going to rename that feather. And then I am going to transform it to be sort of quite small. I'm going to pivot it just because I need, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pretend as if it's, this is going to be kind of cheesy, but I'm going to pretend like it's puncturing. No, I'm not. I'm going to pretend like it's falling so delicately from my balloon. I should probably repeat a few of those, but I won't do that in our video. Okay. So final thing, what about an outline of something? I've been using these filled forms. Let's go over here and do one last thing, one last little quick demo. I'm going to search for a raven, and I'm going to only use an outline of a stroke on this, which we've done a little bit before. What bird would I want to stroke? I like this guy. I'm going to view the image. Big guy. Going to drag that down. Image size, pretty large. Indeed, 28 inches is way too big for what I want. I'm going to change my resolution, make that 10, say OK. It should be pretty easy to select. I'm just going to use the magic wand. I bet this will work pretty well. Yeah, with one click at a tolerance of 20, it's selected everything, even these beautiful talons. Okay, now, I do not want the entire bird to be filled in. So I'm going to make another layer. I could click there. I could also go layer, new. Okay. So now I have a layer hovering above that. I'm on that layer, but I have a selection of the bird. Edit, stroke. Okay. What color do you want? Aha. Let's dial in 160. I really actually want it to be black, but I'm not going to do that. It's a better demo if I do it this way. Okay, sadly. Maybe I want the 210. Okay, I want the 210. At least I'll get, I want the 80. Pardon me, I want the 80. I want this slightly darker one. I'll compromise and do a better demo than making it black, but I will not have it be light gray. 6 pixels. How much of a stroke do I want? I'm not certain. I'm going to try 16. Why? Just a guess. There it is. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come over into my untitled, which is now hard to find, untitled. Right? Click there to find it because I can't see it here because I have all these pairs and things open. Right? So click here, untitled. I'm going to paste. There it is. I kind of like it. Sort of like it really big like that. So if I zoom in, it is not black. Thank you very much. I did make it a dark gray. I haven't put a black item in here yet. I do sort of like it sort of being large like that. In fact, I could even make it bigger, of course. Sort of like that. That nice, tight sort of negative space in the corner. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But for now, there it is. I'm going to go name it. Okay, So I think I've shown you most of the skills that you'll need to complete this project. Remember, you can use shapes and lines. You can use these sort of strokes. You have the 4 values to work with. You can repeat forms and transform their scale. So your one story is underway. I hope this is helpful, and I actually look forward to the results of this project. I'm excited to see this integration of the forms and design with some content. So good luck. Thanks so much.